I said it to the guys yesterday. I'm like, man, hey, we got to have a sense of urgency. It's not time to panic, but it almost is because, this thing can go in the wrong direction fast.
The Broncos look to turn things around and snap their 4-game losing streak this week as they welcome in the Washington football team. And we're getting you ready for kickoff. Hello, I'm Phil Milani alongside Eric Dalala. Eric, the Broncos, 4 games in a row losing. Can they turn this thing around this week?
They need to, Phil, because as Teddy Bridgewater said, it's not time to panic, but it's close to the time where you need to panic. They've got to get this thing back on the right track very quickly here. They've got to find a way to beat a Washington football team that's 2-5, doesn't have the best record, Phil, but still has some dangerous players out on the field. So this isn't going to be a cupcake game by any means. What you really need is your best players to play at their best.
I was going to say, does this team have the toughness to turn this thing around? Because it's happened a lot over the last 4 or 5 years here. 4-game losing streaks. Can they turn this thing around? Because they're just 3-4, but it feels a whole lot worse than that.
Yeah, it does feel worse just because they haven't beaten a team with a winning record. It's been almost a month now since they've had a win. As far as the toughness goes, I do think they have that. I think they have the leaders necessary to turn this around, and guys like Teddy Bridgewater, guys like Justin Simmons, Cortland Sutton, Von Miller if he's able to play. But it's not just about being tough out there. You have to play well too. And Justin Simmons has 1 interception on the year. You need him to play better. Teddy Bridgewater looked great through the first 3 games, has turned the ball over a lot recently. He's got to be better. You need a big game out of Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy if he's back. You need these big-time players to be at their best. And if you do that, then I think everybody says, well, look at the resilience this team has. But I think it has more to do with how well you play.
They've been asked a lot about, okay, how do you get this thing turned around? Seems like there's no magic answer. You just got to play better, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you throw a deep touchdown to Cortland Sutton, all of a sudden it doesn't necessarily matter if you're 4 of 8 on 3rd down instead of 5 of 8. Those things, those big plays, they tend to cover up some of the other mistakes.
Teddy Bridgewater this week was asked, hey, do you ever get rah-rah? Do you ever get angry? And this is what he had to say.
I'm the guy, man, who's just going to be calm always and, make sure that guys believe that, they're special, they're here for a reason. Continue to build guys' confidence up into kickoff and throughout the course of the game. So it's a locker room, though, who has a ton of guys who have confidence in themselves. They look forward to Sundays, just going out there and showcasing their talents.
Well, one thing that'll definitely help Teddy Bridgewater, Eric, is the return of Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it, and especially on 3rd down. That's where Jerry Jeudy, I think, brings the most to this team. In Week 1 against the Giants, when he was in there, 6 of 10 on 3rd down, after he left with that ankle injury that, Phil, at the time looked like it might have been season ending. That's how bad it looked. After that, only 22% on 3rd down the rest of the way. So I think a guy like that who can get separation right off the line, get a couple of yards between him and the defender, that's what you need when you have to get a critical 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. He's the guy that's going to be open.
We talked all offseason long about how good Jerry Jeudy looked. I mean, do you think he's just going to hit the ground running and be able to take off right away?
I hope so. I mean, I think one of the issues we saw last year was the drops with Jerry Jeudy. We did not really see that at all in OTAs, training camp, or the preseason, or Week 1, really. 6 catches on 7 targets, I think 72 yards there in that first game. But I wonder, he's going to want to come out. He's going to want to make an impact. He's obviously missed being out there. He's got to make sure that he doesn't try to do too much, because I think when you overthink things, that's when those drops happen. So hopefully he's able to come in, certainly talented enough, sounds like he's healthy enough, but just mentally has to be in the right spot to be able to make those plays.
After missing the last 6 games, Jerry Jeudy certainly excited to return to action.
I'm very excited. You never want to be out there just watching. You always want to be out there playing. So I'm excited to finally get back on the field, especially just being on the sideline, not being able to compete with your team and go out there and try to win. So, yeah, it's very frustrating. But now I'm back in action. I'm ready to go.
Eric, on the other side of the ball, this Broncos defense really got gouged on the ground against the Browns last week. 182 yards rushing from really a 3rd-string running back into Ernest Johnson. Are they going to be able to be okay this week?
I hope so. I mean, they don't have much of a chance. It has to improve quickly for Denver to be able to win this game and really to get things going here the rest of the season. Mike Purcell, it does not sound like he's going to play. He's obviously been a key to the Broncos' run defense here over the last couple of years, but he'd missed some tackles, Phil. His play wasn't quite where it was last year, so hopefully Deshaun Williams can step in there, make the plays he needs to make, but you do need better production out of Shelby Harris, out of Draymond Jones in the run game, and then the linebackers, Phil, have to be better. Obviously, we don't know yet if Kenny Young, Baron Browning, who's going to fill in next to Justin Strnad, but whoever it is needs to come up and make those plays, and maybe even look for Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons to be a little more active in the run game.
Kareem Jackson is the Broncos' leading tackler right now. Eric, we heard Vic Fangio say that the run game is demoralizing for the entire defense because it opens up things down the field. It affects the secondary, but it also affects this Broncos pass rush, which really has been struggling the last several weeks.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and especially on first and second down. It's been a theme all year. The Broncos haven't been good enough. They spent a little extra time this Tuesday purely focused on first and second down on both offense and defense. And you'd like to think that if you can hold a team to second and 10, stop a run for no gain on first down, that sets you up for success later in that series. Broncos weren't able to do that against Cleveland. They stayed ahead of the chains offensively, and that's when you end up in those 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s, where you can't let your pass rushers get after the quarterback. Taylor Heineke has played decently, Phil, but if you can get him in 3rd and longs, I think that favors the Broncos defense. To do that, you have to stop the run early.
When you look at the Broncos' defensive statistics as a whole, they don't look so bad at 3 and 4 here, but really those 4 losses, things not looking as pretty as they do overall for the season, and the defense knows it's time to turn things around.
I played on hella teams. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. I've won before. These guys haven't won before. Nobody's going to silence me on saying the right thing. Nobody's going to silence me on try to, increase the sense of urgency when we out here. Like you said, it's always, sometimes it's, it's 2021. You can say anything and, somebody might take offense to it, But here in the locker room with all of these grown-ass men, you can't really get caught up on the right thing to say or the wrong thing to say. You just got to say it, and you just got to keep it going. If it's coming from your heart and it's true and it's real and it's reality, you just got to say it, and you just got to keep on moving. That's the only thing that's going to get us out of the hole that we're in.
Eric, other than wearing sweaters, quarter zips here, one of our other favorite things to do is score predictions, and we've reached that part of the show.
Yeah, Phil, I do think the Broncos get things back on track this week. Washington coming in, reeling a little bit here at 2-5. I think the Broncos get it done 24-16 at home, move back to 500, and while I'm not sure yet if the Broncos can beat these upper echelon teams, they've shown they can beat some of the bottom tier teams, so look for them to get things done against Washington.
24-16, okay, I like that. Washington, similar to the Broncos, had playoff aspirations after making it last year. Both teams in a sort of a difficult position at this point in the season. I say the Broncos get it done too, 30-21, I see. The Broncos put up 30 points, Jerry Jeudy back, and the reason I say 30 is because Washington is giving up the most points in the league. 30 points per game, and I think the Broncos hit right at it.
Wow, that'd be a high on the season for Denver.
That would be a high for a long time. I don't know the last time the Broncos scored 30 points. So 30-21, 24-16, we'll see who is closer. That's going to do it for us. For Eric Dalala, I am Phil Milani. This has been Ready for Kickoff.